Hello friends, this is Natalie with Artful Transformations, and today we're going to talk about creating artwork using the impasto method. And all impasto really means is adding layers of texture. And the way to do that, there's a couple ways. So the way we're going to do it today is by using just a heavy body paint, acrylic paint. One, because I don't have any mediums that add body. I only have extenders right now. So if you do not have any heavy body paint, which is already really thick, you can go to a craft store or an art supply store and pick up heavy body mediums, gel mediums, and that will add more weight to your paint. So today, I don't have a lot of heavy body paint, just because I don't do this often. I am not usually a very impressionistic impasto painter, but it is a fun technique to use whenever you have, well, yeah, whenever, just any time. It's fun. So I also don't have huge brushes, which impasto, it's nice to have some big like 2-3 inch brushes that are harder bristled. The only thing I got today is this fan brush, so we're gonna work with it because the biggest brush I have in front of me is this 1.5. I guess he's a 1, but he looks like a 1.5. And he's soft bristled, so that's not gonna be very helpful, but that's okay. We only need him to kind of cover the base of this. And then we are going to switch to palette knives. So I've got a couple of different palette knives. We're going to play with those today. So the goal today is I'm just going to make a big old ball of light here in the center with colors coming out. So I've got white, and we're going to definitely use some white. So I'm going to go ahead and get white on my paper palette. And you can kind of see that, so that's nice. I'm going to try and keep it along the line so you can see all my colors. I'm going to use this yellow, medium yellow, and then I've got a red, and that should be fun. So we're going to add this Naphtol red. And finally, I think blue is going to be my final color, and we're just going to kind of play with this. So this is ultramarine blue. And again, this is all the same brand. This is all the Golden Heavy Body brand, and this is the intro packet that they have. It's just a 6-pack of colors. They're all listed here, so it's a good way to try them out and see if you like them before you go and buy the big tubes. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with my, probably awkwardly, with my fan brush, and I'm gonna just add some white in the center here where I think we're gonna have our ball of light start. And notice I am not trying to get this real in there. I am just getting the paint on the canvas, like literally not brushing it in, not trying to get it so that it stays a certain place, just adding it in. We're going to kind of get some yellow in there. Okay. And I want it to come out more, so I'm going to kind of extend it a little bit, but not by much. This is just our base layer. Okay. And then after that, I'm just going to go straight for the blue and get the blue around some of these edges here so that we've got something to work with. Maybe go back into the white, because we're literally just going to go right over the top of all of this if we get that far out. We'll see. So get the paint out of the way. All right. Fan brush is a little harder to control around the sides, which is why there's paint all the way around what we're doing, but that's okay. It's fun to get messy, right? Okay, so I've got a pretty good little base layer. There's some, obviously there's some open canvas in places, but I'll take it. So now comes the fun part. After I get this brush cleaned out a little bit here, at least clean enough to sit down. There we go. Okay, so now comes the palette knife. So the goal here is to lay the paint on over the top of each other without actually like blending it in. We don't really want to push. We just want to kind of lightly put the paint in there. So we've got this white and it's gonna live in the middle here. So we're just gonna add some white over the top of this. And maybe as we're going out, I'm gonna start adding some yellow in there. And I can put white over the top of that. I'm not really pushing very hard. I'm trying to get it just on. I don't want it to like blend. I just want it on the canvas. And we can kind of make it in the movement that we want. So like if you want it to come out, like radiate out, we can do that. If you want it to kind of more be in a circle, that's the way that we're gonna lay the paint, is more circular. Okay, kind of ran out of yellow, so I'm just gonna move on to the red. I'm gonna start laying red in here. And you can see how like this is just really thick on top of each other. I am not trying to blend it in. I am just thickly putting it all over the place. And that's all Impasto is just this thick paint just on top of one another over and over and over. And we're running out of red already. It does take a lot of paint, obviously, because we're just laying paint on top of paint. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more red, because we're definitely using quite a bit of paint here. And if we want to fill this whole canvas, it might take a little bit. So, which we probably won't do. I'll probably just get a little bit further so that you can kind of see the back and forth between adding the colors on top of what we've already got. And I'll get to the blue too. That way we're all the way out, but let's just refill these colors a little bit so we've got more to work with. Okay. All right, so back at it. We got red spots over here that have not been realized. So I'm just gonna add some red over here. Again, not really pushing hard, just putting it on and pulling it where I want it. And I can even come in here and add some red into some of that if I want. Okay. Some more red out here. It's got this nice, pretty red layer going on, which makes the yellow a little jealous, I think, at this point. So let's go and grab some yellow, and we'll kind of get some yellow into this red layer here. And some of it's gonna blend, and that's okay. We don't mind a little blending. We're just not trying to really blend it. We're just kind of trying to lay it on top of each other. And if it blends, bonus. Okay, so we've got that. I'm gonna go back and add some white in here, because remember, it's a ball of light that we're creating, just a big ball of light. So I want it to look like it's radiating out a bit. This is a really fun technique if you are not in the greatest mood. So if you're angry one day, Impasto is awesome for that. I mean, especially if you have to be indoors, like today it's really cold outside because it's December when I'm recording this, so I can't exactly like go out and throw water balloons full of paint at a canvas. So if I was in a bad mood, then and I'm inside, I can surely come and smack paint on a canvas using this impasto method. So just a fun thing to keep in mind for when you're feeling a little like you need a art project that allows you to just smack things around and not necessarily care about what the outcome is. So they do have some pretty cool impasto videos on YouTube, on other channels, of course, that you can watch that teach you how to do like waves and different scenes using entirely this method of painting. And there's some famous artists that utilized palette knives for most of their paintings. One that I can remember from a gallery I used to work at in Florida was Asensio. His last name was Asensio, and a lot of his portraiture, because that's pretty much what he did, was female portraiture, was done exquisitely in palette knife with very thick layers of paint, which was pretty cool. So you can always look him up if you'd like to see some more I guess detailed or finished impasto works, because obviously we're just playing today. This is not gonna be a grand masterpiece of any kind, and we're not really going for that. We're just going for teaching you how to create with impasto. So I'm going to use the rest of the stuff that I've got on my paper palette and finish this up. So we're not going to get to the end of the canvas today, but that is okay. We've kind of got this method down, right? We're literally just taking these nice little paint layers and I'm scooping it onto the palette knife, so it's on there, and I'm just putting it where I want it to go. So nice little globs, and we're just coming in and adding it. And I'm sure that if I cleaned off my palette knife every time I went to grab some more paint, that it would be a little bit less messy. But I am going over the top of different colors nonstop. So if you wanted it to be a little bit less, well, a little bit less, you could keep your colors more intact. But honestly, this is the impasto method. This is what that looks like. So if we look at the side of this canvas, and I'm going to try to make it so you can kind of look down. So you see there is the form, well, it's starting to form a bunch of peaks. So you can see that there is definitely texture, right? We have loaded paint onto this thing. So it's not going to be a flat canvas. That paint is going to dry nice and textured. So, and you can kind of hopefully see some of the texture as I'm moving the canvas around here. So it's just paint layered on top of paint on top of paint. Okay. And that is the impasto method. So I hope you have a lot of fun with this one. There are great mediums out there if you do not want to get the heavy body paint to create with this or to play with it. So, and all the brands, Liquitex and Golden, they both have different heavy body mediums, gel mediums, and they come in different finishes, gloss and matte and semi-gloss, some of them I believe. So you can play with it and see what kind of a finish you want on it. When the paint dries, that finish will show through. So if you get like a high gloss, it's going to be very shiny like this is right now. I don't know how glossy this specific medium is when it dries. So that will be a fun surprise. But yeah, so this is Impasto. I hope that you enjoyed the video and keep creating. Have a great day.